Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Michael Sandler, your host on Inspire Nation. My guest today is the incredible channel Ann Tucker, and this is a conversation we are destined to have right now. Literally, as we record this, a major 6.9 earthquake has just struck Cebu, Philippines. This is not a coincidence. Ann channeled the mother of creation, who's been warning that these intense planetary shifts are directly tied to a forced upgrade of human consciousness. So, this is about understanding the chaos is not an end, but as a profound awakening. And how does it get any better than this? So, we're going today to decode what's really happening. So, welcome to the show, Ann. Are you ready to shine?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much, Michael. It's so fun to be with you again.
It is so fun to be with you again here today as well. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Mama Bear is halfway around the earth, but because Mother Earth is speaking to us, and we're going to get the mother of creation today, I wanted to go something that is really connected to the earth at this time. So, on that note, Anne, as we're recording this, a major 6.9 earthquake has just struck Cebu in the Philippines. You've channeled about these seismic events and how they're directly related to a massive human upgrade. Why are these earthquakes happening right now?
Gosh, there is a correlation, the amount of light that's coming to the planet. It's like one cohesive effort. But something amazing that came through just recently was that there's this flash of light that the angels told us about. They've been talking about it since 2020. They said it will be the moment we look back on and say that everything changed. It will be an unmistakable a light event that comes to the planet. Like they call it rainbow starlight. Like I see it almost like arcs and like sizzles in the sky, like amazing a quantity of light, which will help to shift everyone. But we have to let the light in. And so these earth events are doing two things. Is number one, they are part of the earth herself shifting and releasing energy, just like in the same way that a human heals, in the same way that we have trapped emotions or things that we haven't processed, and we might have an emotional outburst where we finally let it out. This is her emotional outburst. This is her moment to let things rise. And then the other piece of it is that it creates a crack where the light can get in. It creates an opening, a place of vulnerability where as this light that's coming will be able to soak deeper into where she really needs it, where the earth as a soul really needs the support.
Okay, let's go there for a minute because this is fascinating. It's a little bit disconcerting too. Her emotional outburst. Does that mean, well, first off, the earth is on her own soul journey, is on her own soul path. But does that also mean she's mourning or in pain right now?
She is her experience of her own life. Like what I understood most recently is that one of the wounds she's working on right now is the feeling that she was alone. Like she was unaware or cut off from her awareness, connection to the universe. And that
Just like
has
us.
led, and even, yeah, that said she thought she was alone. And so the right now she's going through the process of starting to realize that that's not the case. She's starting to wake up. She's starting to open up the same way that we do, right? Same way that we awaken.
So could we call this, this is going to sound a bit of a stretch, but when I'm teaching and working with people, we get to a certain point at people's spiritual development, and they may actually have what I call a spiritual flu. It is that fever that is shaking off all the old that doesn't serve you anymore. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, I think so. That it's that idea that she is in the same way that we all are right now, sort of being compressed into this awakening time. There's so much, I mean, we're being so supported for this to happen right now, but we're ready. It's happening because we are, and so is she. She is ready. She has gone through what she wanted to go through as a soul, and she's now in that space and place where she's open, where she's ready to perceive it. It's an interesting thing about awakening and about our wounding and our healing is I think that we sometimes have the I think incorrect impression that what we need is someone to do a magic thing over us that's going to all of a sudden heal us and presto will be different, and all we got to find is the right healer or the right method and it'll happen that quickly. And the truth is that the healer is just a facilitator, and it's always us. We always heal ourselves. It's always our willingness, our readiness, and it has to come in layers because the physical body can only process so much at a time. There's only so much release, and the earth is the same, is that she has now, and that timing is like the learning that you need to go through is the processing, is the learning of who am I these feelings are teaching us about who we are. So she is going through that, but she has now reached this core moment of readiness where, and she's probably, I'm sure, working on other wounds. The one that my guides and angels have told me about is specifically this wound of feeling alone. Yeah.
It's fascinating. So forgive me if I bring things back to concussion, and many people who are watching this understand that I was beautifully concussed, for lack of another term, with a moving truck kissing our Tesla a few months ago. And say what you want about Tesla. She said Tessie saved our lives.
Um,
As I'm going through this journey, it is an awakening for me. As I go into this experience of this curtain that comes closed each morning, where I go into this brain fog, I go into this dizziness, I go into this state where I can't really function the way I want to function. It has actually helped me to step back from my existence, to step back from my life. It is a cosmic pause. And I can look at everything, where I want to go, what I want to do, all of these big, beautiful shifts. And there's a part of my mind that says, wow, you're waking up to this now. This is awesome. Why couldn't I have woken up to this years ago? I would have done this as if I've wasted, and I've got
yeah.
huge air quotes here, the
Yeah.
last few years or the last decade or the what. But that's not how it works, just as you're saying, and just with Mother Earth, that it compounds, and it's necessary to go through that, isn't it?
Yeah. The
Before
layers.
we have that the layers as you're describing it.
Yeah, it's, an interesting story is that years ago, I was planning a local event where I was really trying to promote the healing arts in my community. And I was trying out all these different healers, having sessions myself, so I would know who to invite to do their thing. And so I was going from like healer to healer. I was like a little pinball bopping around trying, and I was like, woohoo, trying all these different modalities. And then I knew that I had something coming up for myself. I had a density in my liver. It was showing up in my dreams. I had multiple indications that I was in the middle of a healing. Something big was trying to come out that I was trying to integrate inside of myself. But I thought, okay, more is more, And so I went Friday night.
Oh, cancel, clear, release.
Right. You can see right now the premonition or whatever it is, the foreshadowing that Friday night I go to a guy and he does this acupressure and do different things and does his modality. The next morning I go to a woman and she's got me on her table and she's lowering crystals and doing acupuncture, and then whoosh, all of a sudden out of my liver, like insanity unveils itself, and I just see image flowing in front of me, and this incredible story unfolds where I see this massive, really one of the major healing like threads of my life, but it came out too quickly, to the degree that literally after that session I went home and I looked in the mirror and I had a bruise the size of a small orange right above, black bruise had manifested right above my liver, and it was literally this big. It took 2 months for it to fade. And I had course ruptured my field, right? So then I had to repair it was crazy. So it was like a major, more is not more. Like more, when it comes to healing, like there's no hurry, like take your time. Like, I know it's all for a purpose, that we're meant to move through things in a gentle way. Yeah. We don't have to throw ourselves on hot coals to heal.
So, going from the hot coals, and it's interesting because I'm supposed to see a not prism doctor next week, who the light comes into your eye differently to help retrain the brain and get your
Ooh.
balance system going in. And it's been too cool. First off, I got in today with a concussion center that had over a year waiting list that called me out of the blue last week and said, "We've got an opening on Tuesday. Do you want to come in?" Yeah. And then this place that I was supposed to go to next Monday for the prisms, it was supposed to be January, but then she had an opening next week, and she called today to set everything up. And she goes, and I said, she goes, "Are you ready to come in next week?" I'm like, "Yeah, unless you had something today," tongue in cheek. And she goes, "We had a cancellation tomorrow." I'll be there.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, exactly.
So, all right. How do we go from hot coals, and we don't have to have it that way, to greater seismic activity, solar flares, and a flash?
Yeah, well, I think it is. I mean, the Earth, as we know, has been around for a long time. So I trust and the like when I've been interacting with the angels and with the Mother of Creation, they have said, because a lot of us really want to, like, especially when you hear that she has been suffering, when you hear that she has felt alone, like we want to help. There's many, I know so many people in our spiritual circles feel a deep, deep connection to Mother Earth. And so, but what I understand is that we don't want to try to take away, even if it means that, yeah, there's going to be some disruption on the surface of the earth. We don't want to take away her healing moment. We can soften her healing moment in the same way that we soften our own healing journey. Is that if we think about, like, the way I tend to think about my own healing process is that when something comes up, I always understand that my feelings are valid. I always understand that whatever wound I'm working through came from real events that caused me to feel real feelings. And so I take a time with myself and I imagine that I am the parent that I wish I had in that moment. And I go back and I try to reparent that small child inside of me who came to those conclusions, whatever they were. And I try to be there and give my inner self, that inner aspect of me, the space and the time to have my feelings. And then I help process it through my own heart. And I think that we can be that sort of doula for the earth, that as she is going through her process, we can absolutely, I think, and the angels have said this to us before, is that we are here to witness, to bear witness to her clearing, to her healing, so that she feels validated, so that she feels understood, she feels seen. And that is honestly, that is how the angels heal, is the primary way an angel heals is by witnessing what we're going through, is by being there to give us the feeling that our experience is valid and that our experience is real.
Wow, so many directions I can go with that, and I really want to get to who or what is the mother of creation. But going back there for a second, I had this image of a dance at a powwow, and people in their amazing feather garb gently dancing on the earth as an expression of being one with the earth. Is that what we're talking about? Not necessarily a powwow, though they're amazing if anybody gets to go, but this experience of I hear you, I see you, I feel you, I am there with you.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that experience of being present for what she's going through, like I know many people have done earth meditations. I did one myself with my community, and then right after that we had those big eruptions or big earthquakes in Kamchatka, and there was very, very, considering like how bad of an earthquake it was, the damage could have been so much worse, like in terms of like if that had happened in an urban area, you know what I mean? It was
8.9.
shocking. Yeah, right. Insanity. And amazingly, it was not nearly that. Like I think there was some impacts in some smaller communities, but not to what it could have been. And I think that's to me, whether or not ever all of our actions that all of us took in that time period was what created that softening, it is still the model I would like to look at as what softening could look like. Like let her have her moment, but hopefully it can happen in a place that doesn't hurt as much humanity or life on earth.
How much are we in a co-creation process with either what we think, what we feel, what we anything to help guide it for the expression that I got out of my first near-death experience? Forgive me for saying first. Folks, it's not a glory thing. You don't need a near-death experience. There's a word in there you want to stay away from, at least while you're here. Kind, gentle, easy, good. May I have all of my learnings kind, gentle, easy, good. Okay, we got bumped by a truck. Maybe I don't need that anymore, but at least it could have been so much worse. Are we in control at all to bring about gentler outcomes during this time?
Oh, I absolutely think so. I mean, like more so than ever. It is actually hard for me to wrap my head around because I'm a bit of a skeptic, believe it or not. The person who channels angels is a skeptic. And my angels know how to work with me in such a way that whenever I have that inner resistance to something, they will give me an experience to show me, like to lower down my guard and to help me integrate whatever they're bringing forward. But they've been telling us to expect miracles more and more as the energy raises, that we can expect miracles, that we can expect, yeah, incredible things to show up for us, that we do have the ability, that the key for us is to try our best to stay in that positive vibration and to do whatever you got to do in your world in terms of trying to create a world that supports you being in a higher vibration. And that doesn't mean to spiritually bypass your feelings. It means it's actually the opposite, is that if you're going through something difficult, stop pushing it down, sit with it, feel it, let it move through you so that you can stay in your high vibration. Like notice the triggers, stop whatever we're doing to minimize, right? Or to numb our feelings. More than ever, we're being called to be super present to what's happening, what's our internal state is, so that we can sit with it, process it, and then come through it and be higher and clearer for the rest of the day. Yeah.
I love it. I'm going to do something unheard of on the show. Please forgive me. Since you're talking about being present with, we have three kitties. The senior statesman, Sir Meowsers, is sleeping next to me right now. He's at least 21. And then we have a middle one, Lumi. Both of them rescues off of Maui, and then a rescue from New Jersey by the name of the Love Bug. And the Love Bug is the first time ever she's come in during a recording, and she's saying, "Mommy's in the Philippines right now. Can you feed me?" Can you hold on one brief moment?
No problem.
I'm going to honor this request.
No problem.
Essential cat. There was food out, but she hadn't seen it.
Oh.
Where was it? Hiding where it usually is. Going from there, what or who is Mother of Creation? How did you start channeling her, and why now?
Oh my gosh. So she is an energy. I've been at channeling the angels for several years now, for many years now, and working with them as a healer before that. But they then came through and told me they had been safeguarding the entire time. Like, you know what it is, that like you always think you've reached the moment in your spiritual journey. You're like, this is what I meant to do. I meant to be an angel channel. No, the whole time they were safeguarding my connection with the mother creation. And I just didn't know it. I just wasn't ready yet. And I had to go through more healing and more healing. Like, it's been, for me, my healing journey has been an incredibly dedicated, like, decades worth of constant work on myself, where I'm always watching for my triggers. I'm always watching my dreams. I'm constantly trying my best to move through my own threads and my own self-understanding. And it's made a huge difference, by the way. Every little inch is an inch gained in terms of your own peace and the reduction of friction in your lives. But then the big reward at the end of it all is I started having dreams about this energy that was trying to connect with me. But all my dreams in the beginning told me that I was terrified of her, because it was so
You weren't
not
ready.
any. Yeah, I wasn't ready. Her energy's huge. It's not anything. I had no framework to understand her. No one ever told me that there was a mother of creation that exists. Like, she's not even in our whole, like, lexicon of understanding. There's no mother of creation. The closest we get is sort of goddesses or Mother Earth or stuff like that. I had no way, even a framework, to understand who she was. And her energy is like massive. So yeah, I had a dream where I'm out on a raft in the middle of the ocean with a bunch of people, and I know this massive energy is coming for me, and I'm like, save yourselves, run away. And she comes and she just settles next to me on the raft, just trying to show me, like, just get used to me. And so after like a year of warming me up and showing up in these different ways, finally, and also through channeling, they were telling me, like, but I was not open until I finally was. And then she came in and she didn't want to leave, and she channeled through me for like 6 hours, which, as you can imagine, afterwards I kind of stumbled, I stumbled out of the room. Like, oh my God, what was that? And but she's amazing. So the best way to describe her is that she jokingly refers to herself as God's wife, but that's she's joking about that. That my understanding, think of it this way, is that when God first asked the question, "Who am I?" When God first woke up, and please use your word, God is my word, however you refer to source energy. But I choose, it feels best to me, use the word God, and I use he for God, and that's just because that's what feels right to me. But so in the beginning, if God woke up, God would say, you would think if it was a human that woke up in total blackness, we would say, where am I? But that's because we have a concept of us and other. But if you were God, you would wake up and you were the only thing that existed. You couldn't say, where am I? Because there's no where. So the question that would come is, what am I, or who am I? And that question, because God is creative, immediately separated God from himself and created an other, an outside, a reverse of God, right? In the same way that you hold up a mirror and the text is reversed, right? It's a mirror image that's a reflection of God, but also the reverse of God. It's outside God. So then then because the mirror of God also contains the question, what am I? Because it contains all that God is, it also has the question, what am I? That question then split the mirror into two pieces, like two halves of a butterfly. And those two halves were also mirror images of each other. So they were the inside out or the reverse of each other, in the same way that God is the reverse of his mirror inside, right? He is the unity of all things. The mirror is separation of what he is. So that mirror division was the grand central sun and the mother of creation, which is divine masculine energy and divine feminine energy. And the sun, the divine central sun, is she called him like a piece of God's mind, or like a piece, but anyways, it's like basically a source of energy, like a power source, but it reflects what we think of as divine masculine energy. So it provides the fuel that fuels the universe. But that fuel, if it was left by itself, would be a lot like the energy in a gas can, and if of like without a car to put it in, it doesn't do anything. So it needs the energy of the divine feminine, which is God gave her. She says that God instructed her in the forms that the universe would take, which we think of as like sacred geometry. And she can then combine with the energy she merged with the grand central sun, can take that energy and put it as it comes out as waves. She can use her power, which is the power to create balance, structure, and form, which then creates life. So she is that. She is, like, she calls herself an electromagnetic field of energy that we use. She gave it to us. It flows through all of us. So she is the mother of all souls. All souls in the universe came from her.
Forgive me as I'm looking away for a moment, and people won't see that off air, but I'm looking away for a moment because I was gifted with a special eye after my first near-death experience. I see light differently. And so oftentimes at sunset, I'm weird. I call it the show. Sunrise can also be the show. But last night, I captured what I consider a connection of heaven and earth that actually I think fits into what you're describing as the mother of creation.
Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Wow,
The,
stunning.
the connection of the sun and the fire of the sun with the water and the waves, because you were just describing the waves of the earth.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. That's so beautiful. Wow. So yeah, so she is the mother of all souls, and she has multiple energies that sort of describe and define her, which we would describe as divine feminine, what we think of as divine feminine. We know her. She says she's like 10, she has 10,000 names. Every aspect of when we have all these different goddesses that we've had throughout time that define feminine energy, they're all aspects of what her energy is, but she gives her energy freely. So we all have that energy inside of us. So, but we eventually will return to her as a soul that will, and she sings us into presence. And eventually we will return to her and she'll renew us with everything we've learned, integrated into a new form, which is amazing. Amazing.
There is a lot to process in there.
Yeah, I know.
Even for me, and I've been around the block a time or two. There is a lot to process in there. And um, it feels like we're in a time period of, I'm going to call it the last gasp of the young, of this swing of the pendulum that must have gone, we'll call it perfectly too far. Everything is divine. There is nothing that is not. It went perfectly too far. And now we're going to work on getting back to center, getting back to that divine feminine energy. Is that what the mother of creation is? Is that why the mother of creation is coming up for you or for us at this time?
Yes. So it's been really helpful for me to understand, like, why now? And so the way that she actually, I used to think that we were kind of like going between like masculine and then feminine, and between was the balance between the two. I used to think that it was like we were overexpressed in the masculine, and then we would go through this balance state, and then we would get overexpressed in the feminine. I now understand that model is not correct. That was what I thought before. Yeah, and it is no longer correct. That is not that what she showed me was, it's just like everything. We can understand everything by looking at the human body. That humanity is going through a growth process that is much like the breath, and that as we were going through, like as God defined himself in that mirror process, the mirror is one of separation, and the separation would continue to move further and further out, almost like how, if you think in your body, if you take in a deep breath, think about how your body expands and how it's almost like it moves further and further out until you get as you stretch as big as you possibly can to get as much air as you can between every little bronchiole that you can get until you are as separated as you could possibly get, fully expanded. And that is because, and that's the process we've been through. And the reason for it is we want to expand to grow because think about if you were trying to cook a vegetable and you wanted to cook it quickly, you would chop it up in really small pieces because you get more surface area. The more separation there is between the pieces, the faster it can grow. There's more surface area, there's more contact. So as we inhale and expand, our soul, our primary soul, would break apart into smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller pieces because the more pieces there are, the more lives there are, the more growth
That's why
there's
we
happening.
feel shattered.
Yes, we are. We are like shards, like little shards of that main piece. And we've now reached out to the maximum point of expansion, just like at the biggest inhale we can take, where we have as many pieces as possible. Now, finally, divine feminine, we are in the process of humanity is turning around and coming back to center. And that is the exhale, the relaxation. And it is only on the turn that we remember her. So we have been in the process of saturating ourselves in our masculine energy because we have been at the peak of the inhale. We finally turn and she says, now you're coming back to me. And so we finally will remember her again and remember how to work with her energy. But she will be helping us with integration of everything that we've learned.
So is this still wild? Is this a light body or a soul upgrade process? And it goes by steps and stairs up, or maybe it even goes in waves. It goes down and goes up and goes down. And if so, are there symptoms or signs that we're going through this right now?
Yeah, it is absolutely. I think of healing as both a spiral and a wave. It's both, right? It's the wave is like all energy that comes from the grand central sun comes in waves. So all form. So think about his energy working with her energy. So he is putting out waves of energy. That way energy comes, she takes it and she turns it into form, right? She's using sacred geometry and everything that she was taught in terms of what the structures of our universe will be. She creates form and then the wave goes down and that form comes apart again. And so that is all life has beginnings and endings, right? It all does. And that is the nature of the energy coming from divine masculine. Divine masculine energy has a beginning, a peak, and an end. It's just how he works. Her energy does not. It is infinite potential. It's enduring. But it raises up into form to match the energy that fuels it, which comes from the grand central sun. So in terms of like where we are now, where humanity is now, like we are working through our own healing spiral, right? Moving higher and higher. And we as individual, like, and it's like with everything is holographic, where it's like Russian dolls, where what's true in the big is true for the little is true for the littlest. So for each of our human lives, we are going through the peak of birth, midlife, and then death. We're going through the process, healing journey, right, of integrating all of our things, moving up the healing spiral. But humanity as a whole is going through this process of reaching a higher, we're sort of shifting from one spiral to the next. It's like almost like if humanity has been at this octave of emotion, where we've been kind of working or existing at this place, then the flash of light comes, all the energy that's coming, we will shift now. So same humanity and same us, same personality, same memories, everything. We just all of a sudden shift to a higher expression with a greater spiritual perspective and really super cool telepathy and all the other goodies that are coming.
Are there, is there a swag bag we get in advance? Are there, are there things we get as we're going into this going, oh, sure, this great flash on the one hand, it sounds kind of glorious. On the other hand, it's earthquakes, this tsunamis, all of this does not sound as much fun. Is there stuff we're getting now that we can revel in?
I say yes, 100%. Like so many people that I know are opening up and connecting to their gifts and finding more purpose in their lives and moving through, terrible wounding. And it's like that's the gift. Like life is the gift. Life is the gift. And the more we heal, the more we perceive it like a gift. It is even, I say, even in our deepest wounding, I look now, like I wouldn't have thought this 15 years ago. But now when I see people who are just going through it, when they're in the depth of the hardest stuff, I see the beauty in it. And I wouldn't have said that before, but now I understand that we only have the ability to feel at that depth. here in an earth life. Like we have the ability to stretch our capacity. And what it does when someone goes through the really rough stuff, it creates that weight is almost like if you fill a sock with a bunch of rocks, it stretches the sock out
Okay.
permanently. Right. And so it increases our, and then you can fill that capacity with love. So when people choose really challenging lives, when they're that courageous, when they're that bold to say, I'm going to sign up for the worst of the worst of the worst, and they come down here and they live a lot of trauma, I say they are stretching out that sock, right? They are stretching out their capacity for love. And it's beautiful. There's something really beautiful about it.
Is it, I don't know if we call it the veil thinning. I'm not sure what terminology we use, but it seems to me that more and more, those of us getting stretched. It's funny you mentioned this because I have my sock that my spare stone fits in right here. It's not like a desk covered with props, but hey, work with what we've got. Um, at this time where our socks are being stretched out, I love that. Is the mother of creation coming through for each individual to where we feel, because this is what I'm seeing, a lot more of, it's okay, you're going to be all right. And we are able to reframe that. Sort of like you said, I'm so sorry about the concussion. Yeah, I agree. And thank you. And yes, so am I. And at the same time, it's not just, I guess the old term, I don't use it really myself, but lip service it's okay, it's meant to be. But I can really sense and feel that these things are actually gifts. And I think others can too at this time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we all have her energy inside of us in the same way that we have an equal mix of our own birth parents, of our mother and our father, that we have that energy in us, and it expresses differently for each of us. So she is, and more we are starting to remember that energy. The key that she's really trying to teach right now is that we've forgotten how to work with her energy, that we are so steeped in the depth of the masculine right now, which was part of this process of the biggest inhale, that we had to go there in order to get as much out of this breath as possible, this sort of evolution of humanity. But we have in the process have forgotten about her, and to the point where we've literally written her out of our books and written her out of our, like she's associated with a number 13. There are no number 13s on Western elevators, and there's no 13th floor, and we literally wrote her out of the picture. And so when she first came through, I'm like, who the heck are you? I had no concept of a person or a being like her. She's not a person, but she's a being. But yeah, so now it's really about helping us to understand. And a lot of this shift in consciousness is about that. It's about us starting to understand how to be comfortable living in a different way, which is what we're calling it, a shift in consciousness. We're calling it this higher frequency. It is higher because we're moving to a more spiritual perspective. And it does include these other wonderful things in terms of unity consciousness, but that's her. She is unity. She's all about the drawing. Think about the breath coming back to center.
Thank you. How would you define the human upgrade that we're going through right now?
Oh gosh. So I would say we have been going through the experience, it's the relationship between the karmic and the dharmic experience or way of living. So we have been in the karmic experience of living, which, as you know, but some people may still think that it is like something has a punishment given to us. That's not my understanding. My understanding is karma is we create it. We are the only ones who judge ourselves. No one else judges us on the other side. That karma is what we create for ourselves. And it can be positive karma or negative karma, but we are living in an experience of being asleep and experiencing a karmic reality that's born subconsciously from inside of us to show us ourselves, to help us grow. It's a very like forced way of learning. And it's highly effective, right? Because we can't fall off the wagon that far, that we just keep finding, we keep bumping into ourselves and bumping into ourselves. So it's like we're on a narrow track of learning. And if we fall off the track, there's bumper rails. They're like, keep going this way. And if you go too off the track, we're going to bop you with something and get you back on the track.
Like a moving
So
truck?
yeah, a moving truck, right? Or a job loss or a divorce or a health crisis, or we know, right? We know all the things. We've all been through it. And but that's our karmic journey. And it's absolutely of service. We call Earth a school, where that won't be the case anymore. When we go through when the flash of light comes, and they've said that lots of people may feel like they're already on this journey, but the angels have said nobody is in the new reality yet. Many people are bumping up against it, moving in and out of higher frequencies, but the new reality does not yet exist. That we will create it once we all get there, which happens after the flash of light. There is not yet actually that, there's not a place. That frequency doesn't actually exist yet. So it will exist when the flash of light brings us up to that point. And when it does, then and not everybody will go over at the same time, and it's not a race. There's no prizes for getting there first. Whoever gets there first is supposed to turn around and help everybody else. But some people will choose to stay and to get the most out of the karmic experience first, right? They will choose to come later. Some people will, who are here, may not ever move over, and they will live their natural life and leave when they leave. They just won't be able to reincarnate on Earth. But because Earth will now be, it's Earth is the one we're waiting for. She is going to move to the higher frequency, and that is when we can go. But when we get there, what it will be like is moving into a dharmic experience, where what that means is that rather than living in a scripted life that's coming from our subconscious, which we pre-plan, and where the focus is really this idea of learning more about ourselves, the focus shifts to learning about ourselves as manifestors rather than trying to understand the sort of the time bombs inside of us. It becomes learning how to live absolutely present in the moment and learning about ourselves as a divine creator, using her energy, which is that energy of being able to take energy and turn it into form and substance. We'll be using our telepathy to understand what is most needed by the earth, what's most needed by the others around us, and how are we best suited to fulfill that need. And then we'll be putting that, the challenge will be trying to bring that into form and learning about ourselves through the process. So very different world going forward.
Okay, so a couple key questions. I don't I'm going to put them both out there, which is a dangerous thing as an interviewer to do. But everybody's going to be wondering, A, do you have any more information on when this great flash may occur? And then B, can we live more in the Dharma rather than karma state now? Can we be a forerunner to this and then learn of manifesting in a completely different way?
Yeah, I love it. And so what they have told me so far is only that we have reached the tipping point, that humanity is actually further ahead than anybody expected us to go. Like we've done great, like yay us. You know what I mean? Like we are. Yeah, I know, right? Like not only have we made it, and the angels have confirmed again and again and again that they see the future, they know what we are becoming, and they're like, yeah, don't even like you guys are. It's happening. Like, don't worry, you're going to get there. And I'm like, not that we should stop. We don't want to stop trying. We don't want to stop working on ourselves because that's how we manifest it. But, and they said that we've reached the tipping point. So now, and they said that the flash of light is coming from a sun, probably the divine central sun that I've been talking about, the grand central sun I've been talking about. But it will take a while to get here, right? So I don't know the specific date. My hunch, and this is not channeled, this is my human perspective. My human perspective based on astrology and my general hunch is, I think, wouldn't it be awesome? Second half of 2026. But that is totally not channeled. That is my human guess.
There was a nebula that they thought, was it a nebula? Something was supposed to go supernova this year. Nebulas don't go supernova. And I'm spacing what it's called.
Probably Beetlejuice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Any guess when you talk about rainbows in the sky, and I hear about all the descriptions of what that could look like in the sky, and of having that daytime explosion, being able to see through the veil. Could that be related, or could that have something to do with the potential great flash?
It totally could. Like I don't, they only said that it's coming from a sun, but I understand Betelgeuse is another type of sun. So it's another star. So for sure, they'd never specified which one, whether it was, so it's coming from a sun. So yeah, so I don't know for sure. I believe it's like a universal upgrade. It's not just Earth, but Earth is getting sort of the great and wild pop of shifting to this higher frequency, which is really, really cool. But yeah, and then can't you also ask him, people experience it now? I would say yes, absolutely. But like people, you'll see people are having increasingly experienced crazy experiences of telepathy, which is so much fun, right? And people being born. We everybody's been talking about the telepathy tapes. I met one of the people who was part of that this past weekend, which was so cool. And but anyway, so yes, and people are increasingly it's like moving into a more spiritual perspective of your life, learning into where things don't trigger you in the same way, where you're able to glide through your life in a more friction-free way, not in a way that is spiritual bypassing, which is where we just repress the feelings. It's where you can think about something that used to really bother you and it doesn't bother you anymore.
A good example when you mentioned friction free earlier is again, I have Sir Meows who's sleeping. He's sleeping with his eye open, one eye open right now next to me. And as a senior kitty, he's been interesting to sleep with lately, which is he gets up about every hour and a half. When I have a light point in my sleep cycle, he wants food. And then he wants food again. And then he wants food again. And then he wants food again. And there was a time not too long ago, I'd say before I was concussed, where in the middle of the night, I'm like, Meowsers, I've had enough. I love you, but I can't take it. And now, since the concussion, I've softened a whole nother layer. And I'm like,
Oh,
I just love you, my boy. Okay.
yeah,
I laid
yeah.
out things. I know I've got the cans in order. All right, let me get you a can. I love you so much. I love you so much. Now I'm going to go back to bed. All right, I hear you eating. Oh, thank God you're eating. But there's that softening. So there's friction.
Yeah.
I can fight that which is, and you're talking about being less or being friction free, or I can soften into it all. Same experience, very different outcome, and a very different feeling in the morning based on that softening.
Yeah, absolutely. That anytime we are in resistance, that resistance is showing us it's not only is it holding that particular energy pattern in place. When we fight, we're just adding fuel to the fire. So it's only when we come to peace with what is and accept what is. And I know a lot of people bristle at that, the idea of accepting what is, because there's some really terrible things in the world. But by accepting, I don't mean that you have to endorse it or condone it. It only means that we have to admit that it's true. And it means an internal acceptance, where the internal fight is when something triggers us, is because there's something about it that's personal for us. There's some piece of it that is a reflection of our internal state. And we fight it because we're fighting its existence inside of us. We have to accept the fact that there's that piece existing inside of us that may be hurt, right? That maybe felt that wound very, very deeply. And we have to come to terms with acknowledging that aspect of us that we wish wasn't there. So that's what I mean by accept. I don't mean accept in the world that there's starvation or that there's war. That's like we can say that is not good, but we have to come to peace with it. And that idea of coming to peace and then integrating all aspects of ourself, all these pieces that have been broken, that brings us into internal unity. So the part of the flash, what it does is it will bring us into that unified state. And it will, and that unified state, we have unity within. Only once we have unity within can we manifest unity in our reality.
So when I think of unity within, the word that keeps coming to me over and over and over again is alignment.
Yeah,
Are
yeah,
there things?
coherence. Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah, so there's
you first.
oh, just saying, there's lots of people teaching this from lots of different perspectives, and they're all good. They're any way you get there is good. Yeah,
How are there ways we can get there now, even before the great flash? Not that we have to be leaders, because like you said, the first people there are going to go, I picture the image of the ladder where somebody's climbed up on top and reaches their hand down. That's what the game is all about. It's how
yeah,
can we serve each other?
yeah.
And at the same time, are there things we could do to step forward to make it even more, I have no other word for it, juicy life experience now?
Yeah, and the most important thing that we're encouraged to do right now is to heal. And by heal, when I first started my journey, I hated the word heal. I thought it implied that I was broken somehow, and I did not like it. And now I understand that it is not that I'm broken. It is that I have parts of myself that it's like I describe it as anything that you have ever said, done, felt, experienced, or that has been said or done to you that you wish didn't happen. And if you have anything like that, that is a part of yourself that wants to be integrated, that wants to be accepted, and that wants to be loved back into wholeness. And that's the process. And it can be sometimes really hard to find. The more healing you do, the harder it is. Like the real job after you've kind of, picked the low hanging fruit, the obvious ones, then the job becomes finding the wounds. And so every little trigger, everything, every single moment that you get irritated is like a jewel that you found, because you're like, ooh, there's something in me responding to that. And some things are like genuinely irritating. Like if you were sitting on a plane and someone's kicking your seat, like that's just, you're not being triggered, you're just being irritated. And that means just like process it in the moment. Like that's a
Thank you,
real
teacher.
moment feeling. Right. Exactly. That's a real deal. But sometimes it's irrational, right? Where you're like, I don't know why that, like someone honks at you, you know, you didn't do anything wrong, and you feel all of a sudden attacked and you feel terrible and it wrecks your day. That's a trigger. You know, that is something that was already inside of you that wants to come forward.
Which begets the relationship question. Why are relationships seeming so strained, so intense, so people are popping lately?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and I mean, I would always say, what is your sign? You know, because depending on where, if they happen to have the eclipse falling in their seventh house, they're going to have relationships are going to be like, "Urgh." So, but I personally have Saturn in my birth chart. I have Saturn and the moon in my seventh house, but Saturn is father, moon is mother. So it means that throughout my life, I was going to replicate the wounds of my parents in my life, and I was going to live that out. So all of my healing happened through relationship. And thank goodness I am now through it, but it was like not an easy process, right? I had two divorces, like really like rough go. And but it was also in a one time period where I was like, I'm done. I'm like, I knew that I needed just time to integrate after coming out of a really, really difficult marriage. I took 4 years and I didn't date at all. And after about a year and a half, all my healing dreams stopped. All my dreams will show me what I need to heal. And after about a year and a half, they stopped. And I was like, wow, I'm done. You know, I've healed. I have no more healing dreams.
Duck and
And
cover, baby.
except the minute after 4 years, I went back. I opened up like Match. I started dating. Immediately, the healing dream started again. I was like, oh, so there it was. So the lesson was my journey of healing happens in the seventh house of relationship. And if I don't date, so I could lock myself in a cave and live a perfectly happy life and no one bothers me. But the point
Where's
is
the
to
fun
engage.
in that?
Right, exactly. So, but I have like spoiler alert, I had to go through another relationship, which helped me to heal my trust issues from the first two marriages. And that then came to an end. And now my kids have actually shown me that I have cleared my heart chakra. And then I feel it. I feel like I move through life now with so much more ease. And it doesn't mean that things won't pop up here and there, because they do. But then I see it and I'm on it, and I will work on myself. But yeah, but my heart chakra is now clear. So I'm thrilled. I'm so exhausted. I'm just kidding.
I I'm with you. I get it. It took me 40 years.
I know.
um, do you do we is manifestation an old word at this point? Or can we still attract what we desire? Or does that look differently as we're going through this planetary shift?
Yeah, I love that, because that is really her, right? Is that she is what brings things into form. And I think the biggest mistake that we are under, I would call it under, because we've been trained by our society, by culture, by expectations to work with energy in a way that is not productive, that doesn't actually take advantage of our own energy apparatus, that doesn't understand how the mother of creation works through us. So we have been trained that we are meant to plan. We're meant to come up with specific and measurable goals. We are meant to, like, don't leave your job unless you've got the next one in hand, right? Because it's much harder to get a new job if if you're not in a job. All of our colloquial wisdoms are about how we're supposed to create based on the past. All of them. They're all about stay where you are today and forecast from today what your tomorrow will be.
Which is impossible to do because you cannot think of a future if you haven't already lived it. So you're now stuck in a circuitous logic that keeps you stuck.
And it's karma. It's a karmic way of creation, right? Is that we're constantly creating by projecting our past into our future. And that is not how we're meant to do it. So what we're meant to do is something that feels completely foreign to us at this point, because we've forgotten all about it, but it's a natural part of our energy field, is that we're meant to let energy come to a close, to finish. And then we're meant to step into the abyss, into the nothing, and to sit and to just let ourselves come into absolute presence. And from that space of nothing, Then in the void is what Mother of Creation calls it. When we're in the void, the only thing we bring with us into the void is our current day present self, and which is our highest expression of who we are in this lifetime. And if we do that, we are in the space of infinite potential. See, we are afraid. We're afraid of the dark. We're afraid of the shadow. The dark is what the Mother of Creation, that is infinite potential. Think about the universe. We look out into the universe and it's dark, and we think there's no light in the universe, except once you have form in the universe in the shape of a planet or whatever, it reflects all the light that's there. So this universe is filled with energy, filled with light. We just don't see it because there's nothing to hold it, to create structure around it, to generate form. So the space of the void, that space we're supposed to step into, which is jumping off the cliff into the nothing, that space is full of potential, but we're afraid of it because we think it's the dark. So we do everything we can to avoid it, and we're terrified of it because there doesn't seem to have a ceiling or floors, and we don't know what's coming next, and we're very scared. But if you allow yourself to step into the void, and you allow yourself to understand that what's generating from inside of you is your highest and best expression based on who you are today, you're working with her energy. You're harnessing the infinite potential to create a brand new future, something that's never existed before. You can only do that from the void.
So 4 years ago, I had a concussion, not as bad as this one. And then this one is been crazy, beautiful, crazy, beautiful. But what I learned is starting 4 years ago, because I started getting dizzy, my fight or flight mechanism went in overdrive. Actually, when I came home from the hospital, forgive me, everybody, my wife called me a fool because I was so freaked out. Because when the world is spinning around you, your nervous system is on a heightened alert. I managed to dial that down, thankfully. I love you, Pookie. I dialed that down. And however, I have said for the last 4 years, I'm a scaredy cat. I am scared. I have my team members when they call me. So Aya Bear, who's going to be in the chat here, and she goes, Michael, I'll be like, oh God. But what I know is a couple things. One, I've trained myself to step forward into the fear. Two, I call on help. Can we call on the Mother of Creation? Can we call on the angels? Can we call on whomever? Because to me, this is not a period where we're not scaredy cats. This is a period of, oh my God.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and absolutely, if you're going to call, the angels are the ones that are here to like, they're the ones that can provide the miracles for you. The Mother of Creation is amazing for the energy of renewal, for healing, for creation, for so many things. And so absolutely, she wants to be integrated into our understanding of who we are. Like, she wants to reconnect with all of us. She loves each of us. She created, she's our mother, right? She loves all of us so much. And she's amazing. It's amazing to work with her energy. The angels have the capacity, increasingly as the vibration of earth goes up, they have the capacity to do miracles for us. That, and we're meant to talk with them out loud, to speak to them aloud. That so many people, this is the funniest thing, when people ask me about how to talk to their angels, the question that most people ask their angels is, what should I do? Tell me what my purpose is. What should I do? Which is hilarious, because that is the one question you will get no answer to. Because of the fact that we are not meant to give away our autonomy to anyone else. We are meant to be the team leader, that we have our guides, we have our angels. And it's like before we came to earth, before we incarnated, we're on the other side. Imagine you're with a team of your best friends, and you are the one that volunteers. You say, I will be the one that goes to earth. Okay, great. Your team is on the other side, but you are the team captain. And imagine if you were like a football team and you're the quarterback, and someone gives you the ball and you look around, you're like, what should we do, you guys? Tell me where you want to go. Where should I go? Where is my play? Right? You have to call it, and then your team can get behind you.
What's cool to me is bring this full circle here, going from karma to dharma, is that in the past we had this urge. In fact, we would go look at our old playbook, which is going to get you in a lot of trouble. You go look at your old playbook of seeing what to do for the new play, and you're sunk. But we are in a space now, I believe, where instead of asking out there, help me, what do I do? We can feel into it, and the answer is already there. Maybe that's the Mother of Creation whispering in our ear, but that felt sense to me is so much more powerful now, is it not?
And that is how we're meant to guide ourselves. So there seems to be like a challenge between the idea that we're meant to step into the void, and yet we're also meant to be the team leader. How do you lead from the void, right? If you're meant to be the one that tells your angels where you want to go, how can you do that if you're meant to go into the void and have no idea what's coming next? So the goal is to feel
I
your
live
way.
this every day. I
Right,
say, I
exactly.
have no idea. And I have a definite chief aim, and they
Yes.
both can coexist.
That's exactly right. Is that we don't know how things are going to show up, but you can say, what I would like to feel in my life is more free. What I would like to feel in my life is more loving toward others. What I would like to feel in my life is this. Like I would like to find a, whatever situation you and but leave the space for something to be created that you do not expect.
I love that. Is there a practice that the Mother of Creation has given you to stay, ironically, since we're talking earthquakes today, to stay grounded at this time? No pun intended, but why not?
Right, exactly. She did give us a really specific one. And I'm trying to remember what it was because I was, of course, in channel when it came through. And it was something about turning to the north, tapping your heart 2 times. It was very specific. I cannot remember it. I'm so sorry. It's really hard for me to hold what I channel unless I read it later because it comes through as words and I'm in my right brain and
So
I
here's
lose
what
it.
we'll do. If that comes to you before we air,
Yes, yes.
we will put up a link or something, and you put out throw like do you have a place we can put up a little video, or you can put up a
Yeah,
little
I could
video,
just
and
put
we'll
it as a short on my channel.
perfect.
Yeah,
We'll send people over there.
that's awesome.
Just let me know. We'll send them all back your way.
I love it. That sounds great.
All right. Is there soul song?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's a soul song?
Yeah. So, such a cool thing. So, imagine this is how the mother of creation describes how she creates a soul, how she gives birth to a soul. So, when she first told me that she was the mother of all souls and that she births souls from all over her body, that I was like, okay, so like you're like barefoot and pregnant in in the the universe out there somewhere, just like babies all the time. And she's like, no, she's like, and then she showed me an image of her dancing across the sky and stars pouring out of her feet. And she says, you are rainbow starlight. But what she does in terms of her energy is so we come to her from God like like a thought form. And she takes that thought form and she sings us into presence. And so that it's a beautiful idea of an expression of a song. Everything, if the angels use music terms that I don't, because I'm not particularly musical, that they talk in the language of music all the time and use terms and stuff that I don't know they're musical until I look them up later and oh, here's another music reference. But she refers to it that way, that she sings us into presence. And it's like it makes sense because we are a frequency, we are a vibration, and a particular embodiment or aspect. Our soul is an aspect that God loves about himself, right? And we are taking that aspect and bringing it into a million different iterations and experiences so that we can see how it reacts, how it responds. How do we, as an individuation of that original soul, react, respond, learn? What forms us? How do we grow? And then after we go through this massive growth experience, we will integrate back to the mother of creation. She will receive everything we learned. It becomes part of her as well. And then she takes all that, integrates it, and then sings us a new song, which is amazing.
Okay, two questions to this. A or one, uh, can we sing that song? And two or B, for whatever reason, um, are we infinite or then we finite?
So that is my understanding, is from what she tells me, what the angels tell me, is that is what light language is. That if someone is speaking light language, they are speaking the language of the song of their soul, which is beautiful, really beautiful to think. So everybody's light language may look a little different, and that's on purpose because they are expressing their soul song, which is so, so cool to think about. And what was the other question that you asked? There was a twofer in there.
Yeah. If she has twinkle toed us into existence, does that mean there was a time before our existence? And that way, and then if we come back to her, that we are not infinite divine beings, but actually finite divine beings, which is a contradiction in the very verbiage.
Yeah, yeah, we are infinite. So she is infinite. We are infinite. The grand central sun is not infinite. He is finite. So his energy, in the same way that the masculine energy rises and falls, that he will rise and express himself. So, which is fascinating because it drives the ideals of procreation, the idea of recreating himself. So his energy is all about creating, protecting, and feeding, caring for his offspring, his family, which is the universe. So he's the provider in a sense of the universe. It's a beautiful idea, but and part of that is his drive is because of the fact that he is not eternal, that he will live on through all of us.
So if we're eternal, though, forgive me for going here one more time. We're doing our 60 minutes version right now. If we are eternal and infinite, but she calls us into existence or sings us into existence, doesn't that mean that we didn't exist before she sung us into existence?
Yes, we did not exist until and she didn't either. She was born from God. So she began. But here's what's interesting. She says that at the time that she was the first beingness that he created. She said her and the grand central sun, they kind of co-formed. The first beingness he created, but at the moment of her creation, it was as if she had always been there because she contains everything that God contained at the time.
This is the question I always have when it comes to things like guardian angels who say, I've been with you since the beginning of time. I will be with you to the end of time. And I was with others before you. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh. And so for
Yeah.
a certain point to go, okay, I just can't grok that. Okay.
Yeah. And I think this is me taking some liberties with understanding what I've been told because they haven't specifically said this, I don't think, but I think they've hinted around at this that eventually as each of us moves through our own healing cycle as a soul, as a higher self soul, as we grow and grow and grow, we eventually each have the potential to become a universe, which is kind of cool.
Ooh, because there's a lot of people talk about it's becoming a sun, becoming a star. But you're saying that's small potatoes.
Yeah, yeah, right. I know, kind of an amazing thought. I think we are stars already, like we are starlight. We're rainbow starlight, is what she calls us. Yeah.
Is there one message she has for um, hope or protection or healing as we're going through this crazy, interesting earthquake? Who knows what? Guys, we're going to be fine. Help us through this time.
And this is the thing that I think is can be the hardest thing, I think, for us to hold because of our fear. But the more that we can trust that your energy will create your reality. And so what's important more than ever is to work on our healing, to remove the friction from our field, to focus on love, to recognize that each of us, we are good and we have the potential to create a good world. And the more that we focus on that idea, don't get sucked into the fear dialogues. When the flash of light comes, they're telling us, the angels tell us, close the blinds, close the doors, stay in your own energy, be in your own energy field, create the beauty that's inside of you. And don't let whatever, if other people are scared or freaking out, don't listen. Close them out, shut them out, stay in your own vibration because you've worked on yourself. We have all been on this journey. We've been deliberately trying to raise our vibration. So they want us to stay in that and to try to cultivate that as much as possible because that is what will keep us safe. That you could be in a crazy environment. And if you are generating a field of love around you, you will be just fine.
So thank you. I was talking to my wife Jessica last night. She's in the Philippines with Aya Bear right now, and I had been doing all this work, putting myself in this state. What do I want to focus on? What's my energetic state? And I'm talking to her, and she's just getting up for the day, and so it's about getting this done and getting that done and getting the other thing done. And I said, I want to be really careful or cautious with my energy right now, so that my energy keeps working on what I want it to work on when I sleep. And I love you very much, but let's table that for tomorrow. And it seems that now, particularly as we're coming into this more energetic state, it is so important to be, well, I guess the Hawaiian term is pono, righteous, pure, about what energies we choose and when we choose them and what we choose, just as you're saying with the flash, but even right here, right now, what I choose to bring into here.
Yes, I absolutely agree. And it's really easy for us to be influenced by what's around us. So I think even developing, like just having that hyper awareness of what is your internal state right now, and are you being supported in maintaining a high vibration? And if you are going through something, if you're going through a healing journey, fantastic, then double down and spend time alone trying to figure out what that is. Like spend time with the feelings and let them come up. But otherwise, don't subject yourself to the news cycle. Don't subject yourself to even to movies that are violent, to songs that evoke feelings that are not anything other than going to put you in a place you want to be. So just to be conscious of what we're consuming, because yeah, it's an easy way, an easy trick to get yourself. If you wake up and you feel gloomy because it's gray outside, put on some music that lifts you up. That to try to be conscious of where your energy is. And at the same time, really trying to embrace your journey and to manage your journey in the sense that being aware of when things are coming up, when you've found one of those golden nuggets of trigger, when you have something you can work on, and dedicating your time, getting help if you need it. There's so many amazing healers out there. And the perfect time to call a healer is when you are going through something, because the energy is on the surface and then they can help you move through it.
Love it. Much easier to see. So a couple last questions. First off, actually 3 last questions. Where can people go to find your work and to find out more?
So I'm the easiest to find by my name, which is Ann Tucker, Ann with an E. I'm on YouTube under Ann Tucker. My website is Ann Tucker. On my website, I predominantly help people. I'm a healer more. I'm a channel, but my actual work is as a healer, and I do retreats and I do healing programs.
Yay. And then what makes you most hopeful for the future?
Oh, all of it. Like all of it is so darn exciting. Like all of everything makes me so hopeful. Like I see increasingly, I see the light in other people. I see the beauty in like the world around us. Like it's all, yeah, increasingly like this is great. This is great. Yeah, all of it is amazing.
Thank you. And then I'll play the flip side of that coin. For those of us or those of you, how do I put this? For everybody who's watching who may not feel and saying this is great, I'm not seeing this as great right now. Any words of hope or wisdom if you're in the mud before the lotus?
Yes, I would say there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. I'd say that it's on purpose, that what you're going through is in its own way. Like it was a choice that you made, but before you came, and you only made that choice because you're a very ambitious soul. There's some of the people that I know that's some of the highest frequency people that I know that are very advanced souls, came through and had devastating lives. And they did it because they knew they could handle it, and they knew this was the time. Like this is the moment where you can become the brightest, shiniest soul you can imagine. And I know that when you're in the depth of it, it's really, really hard, but you wouldn't have given yourself that challenge if you didn't think you were up for it. And you will find like their light is coming, the light is here, more light is coming. You will have the opportunity to step through into that higher frequency. So it is that idea of just do your best, do the best that you can, and know that that is absolutely okay. That it's really, really hard when you're immersed in the wounding to feel all right. But also know that we think feelings are true and they're not. Feelings are a reflection of an internal state. And so you might feel horrible today. Tomorrow, you have the potential to feel completely different. So, yeah, like waves, exactly. And so I would just say have faith in yourself and know that if you are going through a lot right now, it's because you have the capacity and you are benefiting yourself. But whether you feel it or not, you are becoming a brighter, shinier soul because of everything you're going through.
Woohoo! Thank you so much, Ann. This is beautiful. This is amazing. I think this is exactly what we all needed to hear right now. So for everyone out there, this is Michael Sandler saying, be well, be well, have fun. Know you are okay exactly where you are. Know something special is not only coming, but it's here on the inside, right here, right now. And above and beyond all else, shine bright. Woohoo! Does it get any better than this? This was beautiful, Ann.
Thank you. It was so much fun. What a great conversation.
I love to say, I enjoy this so much. I hope you do too. What a special, incredible interview. This is one of hope. This is one of understanding. This is one of understanding where we're going with these seismic shifts, and that the seismic shifts aren't just the ones outside, they're the ones inside to help us on this spiral, to help us on this ladder, to help us on all of our growth. How does it get any better than this? On that note, if you wanted to bring your energy up each and every day with a group of like-minded souls to help you to live at that higher level, to see the world differently, and to truly be in that different plane of existence. Come join us with the School of Mystics. 4 Wednesdays each and every month, live and just as powerful on the recording. How does it get any better than this? Link down below. We have energy transmissions, we have attunements, we have clearings, we have teachings, we have so much more. Group intention meditations to help you live at this higher state of consciousness. And at the same time, if you're not ready for that, I understand. Get our daily woohoo newsletter, a daily energetic transmission to bring your energy up each and every day. It's daily woohoo. It's totally free. Daily woohoo, WOOHOO, dailywoohoo.com. And if you want to learn how to channel with your angels, with your guides, with your loved ones on the other side of the veil, and even with your pets on this side of the veil, how does it get any better than this? Come join us at automaticwriting.com. Live classes each and every month, a video-based program as well, so you can begin channeling today. And last but not least, here's a link to the next amazing show. Love you so, so much. Keep on shining bright. Woohoo! How does it get any better than this? Love. I love you. I love you. I love you.